What's up, everybody? It's Jason here from Fanatic Productions. Thank you all so much for coming to my channel today, and this is our first video of 2023. Yes, we finally made it. So today, we're going to be reviewing the top soundtracks that I heard in 2022. Now, this is not going to be necessarily a ranking video, it's just going to be a general video of some of the songs that I liked and some of the soundtracks that I loved, because these are all so very good. So first off, we have the Batman soundtrack. Now, this one was composed by Michael Giacchino, and you might remember Giacchino because he is a recurring composer on some Disney and Pixar films that really made it big, such as the Incredibles movies, Up, and Ratatouille. But he's also done some work with the Mission Impossible movies, as well as all of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. However, you might just call the Batman his magnum opus. And I love how each soundtrack starts out with a humble beat and it all builds up to these massive orchestrations that are perfect for any origin story, let alone Batman. The soundtrack also has a dark tone that pairs well with Robert Pattinson's portrayal of the Dark Knight, and while watching this movie in IMAX when it came out earlier in 2022, I was just sucked into the film from the start. Even the trailer using the song Something in the Way just made me want to see this movie on the biggest screen possible, and Michael Giacchino rewarded my ears tenfold for the upcharge of IMAX, so it was definitely worth being on this list. So next on the list, we have Top Gun Maverick. Now, while this one uses some of Harold Faltermeyer's original soundtrack, that in no way diminishes the soundtrack at all. In fact, Hans Zimmer and Lorne Bow's revamp of the classic score is right on target, no pun intended. And I love that the blend of the original tracks with several newly composed tracks that really made this film one of the best sequels I've seen in quite some time. You can tell the filmmakers really took their time with the soundtrack because of what this franchise means to so many people worldwide and repay dividends. No matter which track you listen to, you just can feel the cinematic experience that these movies bring to audiences. And I liked how they used two powerhouse composers like Zimmer and Balfe, whose accolades alone could be 15 minutes of this video, to be honest. And I mean, these two hit the soundtrack out of the park as they do in each of their films. But the icing on the cake for the soundtrack is Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand, and that song really closed out the film fantastically. And I fully expect for this soundtrack to be top composer in this coming award season. If you're looking for a soundtrack that could be a real dark horse this award season, I think it could be Chana Dancy's composition for the Korean War film Devotion. Now, this is another movie about fighter pilots, and I guess you could say that it's all about the real-life heroes that were Top Guns before it was cool. But besides just the great writing and special effects that made this a really good film to watch, Dancy's soundtrack used traditional orchestration that doesn't have the studio bells and whistles of major studio movies that we've seen this year. But I think it's a great example of how less can be more. There just isn't a track that I do not love, since they all drove the story that I saw on the screen forward, and that's the basis for what a soundtrack is supposed to do. And I was immersed into the Korean War and its heroes that are oftentimes forgotten, and I dare say this soundtrack rises to the likes of Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge, and American Sniper. Big A+ to Chana Dancy, and I deeply hope she is recognized for her talents, and I can't wait to see what she has in store for the future. I really had a hard time deciding between Where the Crawdads Sing and My Father's Dragon as Michael Dana's best work this year, but I think it just has to go with the latter. Now, this might be a little bit biased since I adore Carlton Saloon's timely and beautiful films, but I genuinely love the range of emotions that Michael Dana and his brother Jeff Dana's soundtrack brought to a story about a young boy and a dragon. I can hear all the joy, the love, the sorrow, and the thrill of this film's story in this soundtrack, and there is a lot going on in most of the songs used, so I just can't imagine how painstaking and long it took to compose them. And one example is the use of siren lyrics that add a level of surrealism to the story that pulls you in and gets your imagination racing. And this film and soundtrack is a good one for people of all ages, and I hope 2023 is as good for the Dana brothers as 2022 was. Last but certainly not least is Avatar: The Way of Water by Simon Franklin. Now, Franklin, he tackled the soundtrack in a similar way that Hans Zimmer and Lorne Balfe did for Maverick, and this was a highly anticipated sequel just like Maverick, and Franklin used some of the late James Horner's original composition from the original Avatar movie as a base of the soundtrack. But the big difference in Franklin's soundtrack is there are some subtle tracks that at times take a backseat to what's being shown on screen, and I think that decision really helps powerful and intimate moments that are shown on the screen throughout the movie bring the audience into this amazing dream or at times Nightmare. And I believe if you ask someone in the audience who did the score, they might just say James Horner if they didn't know that he actually died several years ago. So I applaud Franklin for keeping the score close with Horner, what might have done if he was still here. And so the soundtrack is a really nice homage to Horner. Also, I loved The Weeknd's Nothing Is Lost song that played in the credits, and it was powerful when I saw it in theaters, and still powerful when I listen to it almost every day. So big props to The Weeknd for another great piece. Now before we round this video, here's some honorable mentions that I still believe deserve a shout out.
He didn't listen to me. Why? Why didn't he listen to me?
Get my boy off that stage!
I was hoping you were gonna ask me to dance.
Get up on the floor, we're gonna be good tonight. Wanna get you feeling right. We're gonna be good tonight. We're the good guys. We're gonna be good tonight. Wanna get you feeling right. We're gonna be good tonight. We're the good guys. Come on!
Okay, Carolina knows why for years they've said that I was guilty as sin and sleep in a liar's bed. But the sleep comes fast and I'll meet no ghosts. It's between me, the sand and the sea. Carolina knows.
So that was my ranking of some of the best soundtracks this year. So if you agree with that list, please let me know in the comments below, or let me know if you have any other films that you think I should watch that also have a great soundtrack. So before I end this video, I just want to say again, Happy New Year to everyone. But I also want you to know that for this upcoming year, I'm going to try my best to make these videos as pleasurable in content as I can, and to make them just really good quality. Because I know sometimes last year I've noticed that I released some videos that weren't good audio-wise, video-wise, or even content-wise, just for the sake of meeting a schedule. And I think, especially with my schedule, the schedule of a filmmaker, that's very up in the air and very much volatile. And I can't always have time to make this stuff during the week and on time on a specific day, as you've seen in some of my videos. So what I'm going to try to do this year is I'm going to release videos, do a few per month that are in really good quality, so you guys really enjoy them, and I'm going to commit to making better videos this year, so you guys, so I obviously get more views, more watch hours, but so I can have this video grow as much as it did, even not more than it did in 2022. So that's my goal to you guys, and because you guys is time, and you guys deserve good quality videos, so I'm going to do my damnedest to make good videos this year, even if it takes a little longer to make. Well, I hope you all enjoy this video, and don't forget to subscribe below so you can get the newest notifications of all your Film Fanatic production content, and I hope you guys have a great day, and always, remember, become Film Fanatic.